Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. So it looks like I may have had a little Windows volume reset here. So I'm just watching this, seeing how it's looking. That looks relatively good on the graph. Testing, testing. Go back up a little bit. There we go. Testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Okay, well that peaked a little bit. Okay. All right, so we've now got a brand new algorithm for which I quickly put in this blur effect. We got this special biome peak thing. Another thing I was noticing is I kind of like this blur effect for like the fade, because it cuts out all the hard edges, so that when you put the points on top, they kind of have the hard edges and stand out a little bit better. So that might be something to look into. But meanwhile, I need to actually be able to see this. And I want to just do my default view. There's a couple ways to do that. One would be to just, add a couple zeros to this so it extends into the present. All right, so this is going to be sort of a mashup of topographic map biome. And the old competition one. So it's going to have an aspect of this to it. And then we're going to need, geez, allergies are getting to me. And we're going to need a couple of more settings. Okay, that's modified, new file. Well, good thing I made this in a little array. And I think I ended up renaming this. Yep, instead of map order. Because, hey, what do you know? It changed, and now we have a different order. All right, so 3 moved down here. So that by itself would rearrange some things. Yeah, and then the weights got shifted to work with that. Biome weights changed a bunch. So this is going to have to be topographic. Did I hit caps lock? Yeah, I hit caps lock. And then biome weights. Oop. Oh. And then we have to do this differently. All right, so maybe, well, it's topographic biomap, topographic biomap, but then it just becomes that huge word. This is starting to look like some sort of structure for each type of generator might be useful. Maybe this should actually default to the current version. And then we're using it through options, so that should all be fine. Yep. Topographic. Oops. What's different? Topographic. Topographic. Somewhere. Okay, and then all our old ones. Now, we never had to specify these before because they were just the defaults. So where we do there, and then this one, we're going to need to define new ones. So this could use some refactoring. All right, and numbers. So we've got 3, 2, 1, 2. It's hard to say if any of these moved or... I guess I moved the 11. 08. Oh no, we removed. We just outright removed all that stuff. So there's 4 entries there, and then there is special biomes. Oh, no, there is a... Wait. No new line and end of file. Oh, we removed up to no end of... Oh, okay, that is added. O.11, O.11, O.13. So one of them is a little bit more common. $11, $11, $11, $13. 7 total. And then we have special biomes. So we included everything in the other map. special biome map. Oh, wait. Okay, I started copying that, and then I start considering the weights. Okay. And it is, in fact, just the end of that list. Four. So that means Arctic is going to be the slightly more common one, I guess for the oil. Oh, and because it's kind of at the terminal point where you're going to get cut off a bit. Now, the way the code uses this may have changed, though. So there's a regular volume limit. Special biomes. Oh, there is a separate special biome thing. Let me guess. The loading stuff is done later. Okay, so we load our special. So this has not changed. Oh, except this is the special system, but we also have special biome. Own weights. I'm going to have to see how much regular biome limit is used. Right, because it's still in that wait list. Oh, naming is hard. I called this the special biome system. But the special biome system includes a special biome weight. So we actually have to be able to pass that through as well. So that's almost like, well, this almost becomes like regular. And then special. So this actually cannot use this type of loop easily. Biomap minus Special biomes. And I've still been using just length for that. And I was still using the I there. Oh, actually, I probably could have used... Yeah, I could have used this value here. Oh, well. Oh, except... this goes here. Special biome weights. Yeah, that's special biome weights. So he is using, there didn't used to be a weighting system on the competing competing system. All right. So make sure all that parses correctly. Okay. Oop. Oh, I'm not actually running the server. I don't need the data server right now, so that's sort of okay. I updated it, but I don't need it right now. And this only replaces, in the case, use patches mode, but it's modified now. Well, for one thing, it's got a bunch of new seeds. Oh, and all this stuff has to get down to the generator. No, I was calling it. Special biome total weight. Yeah, this is a little bit weird because we're doing like topographic with the special biome in case you need it. We're also going to have some new seeds here. All right, so this is a single block of code. It might be a little bit easier to read over here. Regular biome limit. So that is biome seed scale still. Now we have like biome. Special offset. We also have, now this currently is the same roughness but a different scale. Offset scale. Num special biomes. Yeah. Probably need to start thinking about higher level structures for some of these things. All right, so the roughness is the same. Our base is 2.4939s. Or wait, offset. Yeah, offset. And our scale is 0.2499. Oh, and I gave it num biomes. Well, that's just, oh, because I was sometimes using or reusing. Okay, but I stopped doing that. How often do we need this? Because that is quite duplicatey. Options.numbiomes. Okay, we use it once there. We use it once there. And then a couple of these different things. Right, so before I had the biome map in here, I was doing that. Does every generator... Actually, we have all of our initializers. You pass both. 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 Yeah, so that's kind of redundant. I guess I kind of want it for quick access. But we can do... that and that. All right, and this is already has that set. And then we don't have to have this anymore. All right, biome special. And a boundary. Okay, we've got a boundary range. These are just local constants. O3. So we still got that very large second place. Or what I'm assuming is a relatively large second place. Yeah, so the whole second place concept has just kind of got dropped on the floor, seems like. All right. Regular. I mean, it seems like we should specify this, but if we're specifying that, now total weight is really just the last element, so that could be removed as well. All right, is anything actually broken? I'd say something's actually broken. Now, is it just that? Okay, so it is just that function. I haven't done anything yet except change our weights. See, okay, biome total weight. Wait. Okay, that is very wrong. Oh, no, that's... I mean, it's still very wrong, but I forgot that was happening quite a lot. Where can... Oh, I need to do different indexes here, which I presume this did. Yep, 1 minus regular biome limit. Yep. And is that something I need to pass down to my other thing? And okay, well that makes this reasonable. But actually, no, actually this was not our main issue, because we're not using that. Okay, this is cumulative, so 0.99 makes sense. Total weight, total accumulates, regular biome total weight, here we go. That's more like it. Special biome map index. So it seemed like a version of this kind of ended up in there. Second place for regular biome. Right, I kind of ran this stuff together. Yeah, this is still the same bit of code. Now that we're doing this more, having dedicated variables for that versus doing this test might make a little bit more sense. Regular biome limit. I think I might need to construct this differently. Because that was kind of how he did his I think we only use cumulative weights for anything. Actually, where is this special biome cumulative weight? Oh, this is leftover. He's not actually using this. Okay. Okay. Which means I can call this special again. Although it might be a little bit confusing with that code. All right. So I think... Oh, actually... Do these weights not matter? Oh, the amount of space that's here in terms of the total weight relative to this matters a little bit. They're in there to give the remainder a total weight. Which we happen to know is going to end up being 1. So special biome map. Oh, this might still be somewhat needed. He called that biomes. Yeah, because we still get a biome index out of this. So when we go down and do this, picked biome equals I, where I is regular biome limit to num biomes, biome equals biomes I. Num special biomes. But we don't need the actual list anywhere. We do use num special biomes. I was kind of wondering if I could do this as a list of regular biomes and a list of special biomes, but you still need this joint map because this is the translation from the indexes returned from compute biome index to the ID that the game uses. So places assume that there is a singular mapping between those two things. For my purposes, maybe I just want to return game biome indexes and then not worry about it. So that's just to fill out probability. So in our algorithm, yeah, so we're picking an index, and then if we pick an index, which it could still be one of these, because it's still using the old algorithm. We do need to know this, which I guess you could just encode that. Well, yeah, I can't actually have this. I can't just put in a 1 here. These results need to match to get accurate reproduction. I mean, I guess I know it's 0.99. We could just have biome total weight, and then if it is regular, if it's above this list, which actually if I did blank this out, you could get that from here. And I just, well, it's like I'm going to have some extra setting. Now, I do currently have total weight as a separate thing. So that could just be an input. All right, I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, metals, not a big deal. Well, I was trying to replace my compound. Use titanium for oxygen tanks. Yeah, I feel like we're just kind of going around in circles now. Well, it might be comforting to actually go around in a circle. Or we could crash.
Oh no. case you need a hand.
Can't believe I'm standing still. You're lucky I like you.
Coming by. I really appreciate you coming to hang out. It's awesome. You have a great day. And Jeep guy. That's awesome. Okay. We'll see you again soon. You enjoy.
All right, well, welcome back. So the only thing I need out of this is so that's the total weight of that. We do need a variable to track that cumulative bit. Oh, and the algorithm is saying picked biome less than num biomes, and it's greater than cumulative weight. Else we stop at the last one. So if I just removed these, we wouldn't actually stop at a picked biome to trigger that condition. It would stop here. Or I'd have to combine those and say, okay, this is our trigger biome. So from regular biome limit to num biomes, I guess the length of this doesn't have to be the length of cumulates. But I guess just to ensure parity, we should do that. So that means the thing we have to pass down is, well, what you're going to use is that to that. Or we tweak this so that it can go over, and then anytime it's over this. Oh, you know what else? I think he extended this in a way that it could devolve back to the old algorithm based on settings. So maybe that's how I need to be looking at it. So that just by specifying those limits, I mean, we have different weights, we have different maps. So we still have that stuff. And we have different cumulative weights. But this might be the extent of what we need. Okay, that needs that number. That needs that number. That is just the length of the array. This is different. The topographic was slightly rearranged. We just have to make sure that, well, we're back to specifying length, or a length, because we have to specify the regular biome limit. Or that could be a calculated thing, so that's just num special biomes is 0. Good layer biome layer. So we've got all these settings. Biome map. So if that defaults to 0, then you have that. You have, actually I can do a replace on that. And num special biomes is 3. Then we don't so I have a special map biome index. We have topographic. Oop. We have a num biomes. We're going to, at some point, have to make this check anyway. Equal num biomes minus options. Is it num special biomes? So then we come down here, we go through all this pick process, and then we say, so the num special biomes check again is sort of redundant at this point. Oh, no, because it says 0 to 6. The number of regular biomes, well, it's regular biome limit, greater than or equal to. No, because it's number of biomes, so that's still going to be 7. I'm not sure I need that test. So we're, right. Alright, so we're going to reset. This is going to be a little bit like our compete. No, it's compute. 1 Num biomes. Okay, it's kind of different. Oh, and this actually did have that stuff. Oh, this is where I was wondering, could I arrange the data? Such that I could just call out to this function for that bit. Well, we're doing the biomap, so if we had a special biomap, I could run it through there. We need like a sub-object for all the options used by this thing. No, because we have this stuff. And the second place handling is completely different. Okay. So max value, we already picked that. I guess these are actually going to get touched a few times. We should already have you. So the scale we're using in here is going to be... Oh, man. The scale here goes into the getXY fractal. If we had it there, we're done with it. Oh, okay, we did have it there. So it is biome. Num special biomes. So this is biome. Wait. Oh, this is so confusing. No, this scale is the fractal, so it's biospecial offset. Biome special scale times num special biomes. Biome special roughness. And then the seed, the scale is the change. Biome seed special offset. Oh, gee, this is options dot biome seed offset plus special offset. Right, so I could combine those two additions. We have to do this multiplication every time because it's a different biome. Wait. Oh, right. I almost wonder if I shouldn't make the seed a parameter of this function, but sometimes you can do a lot of things off the same seed. This layering thing, not so much. Okay, if it's greater than max val. Oh, and he picked some different values for these. Also, we have. We still have the old second place stuff. Yeah, he did still have second place and second place gap. But here he picked -10, not max value. Oh, and roughness was reused. So let's separate out the reused versus the new stuff. Alright, so if it's greater than max val, if it's not equal to -10, then we also need to initialize second place. Not dealing with that yet. That is a simple if, and then we close our loop. But not our special case. Otherwise, he's doing this. Okay, so this is kind of changing how it's calculated. Less than options. What did I call that? Biome special boundary. Means run a boundary. Second place equals pick biome. Second place gap, we're not really using in these days. Picked biome. -1. Else. Now, we can get a slightly different system here. Second place biome equals regular biome limit. Yeah, it's picked biome. Second place gap equals 0.1. Actually, is second place gap ever not 0.1 here? I don't think it is. Yeah, so we can still do this just here. And now then this gets put in a else case against u. And I guess this is really only going to be a concern here. And then we come down to the end. And we have that. Second place biome, picked biome gets overridden with the boundary. Second place biome, second place gap, we don't really need. Okay. Picked biome is not defined. Picked biome. Okay, that seems appropriate. Well, there's a bug there. How about... Okay, so this looks relatively unchanged. Why are we getting a U? How are we getting a U? So we've got a boop, boop, boop. Oh, you know what? I probably never updated the loop. Yeah. So it's picking the peaks out of all possible biomes. And let's double check the iteration condition there. Equals, less than. Okay, I don't know if that's the actual map right now. But it does add a little bit of regionality to it. Now, I did attempt to update my local server, so if I start that up and look around, we can try to see how that matches. Yeah, that's the wrong window. I think I got an relatively updated client going. Oh, that server pulled the updated data. Which, if that got pushed as a version, actually, here we go. Reflector. Because I didn't think he'd restarted. Maybe he was able to just kind of sneak that in there. All right, so let's see if we can grab that real quick. Because having to rebuild it myself takes quite a while. I think I had some ways to do targeted builds. Downloading update. Okay. Or maybe I missed an update somewhere. But I just have to spend some time figuring that out again. Oh. And it doesn't seem to have crashed yet. Because I think because of the pies mod, I had to keep clearing my caches. But maybe that's only when things move down or move around certain indexes that were affected by that. All right, unfortunately, this is still a little bit of a long process because we want all those settings. Okay, so that's that. On top of our regular, or on top of the updated data. And there's just so many objects and things that take a sweet time to copy. All right, well, I guess we could call that a draft. I could look at things like, could I apply the blur effect to the fade, assuming that this works. Yeah, it's one life, the whole map. Oh, this was the temporary code. Oh, I need to set this up as a test system. So I didn't actually create a test layer for that. What we do, I basically copied the arc anyway, right? So I think it was like 723. Yeah. So this is what might actually match with my server. But that is the test stuff. I mean, I guess since it's unproven, good checkpoint there. While we, it's almost done. All right, so I guess to keep straight, we're gonna have to go start going by data numbers here. And actually, I think we're probably clear to get rid of that, which is another big file operation. Oop, and then it moved. Place all those. And I probably don't really need this intermediate version here. I also want to go back to check topographic stuff. But I thought there hadn't been a server reset. Okay, it says origin is Arctic. I agree. Says there's a jungle over here. I agree. It says there's these little squirrely doodies. I agree. Yep, I see that up here. I see that. Although I guess we saw a little bit of this. I haven't really looked around. I guess if we walk over here, we could maybe see a little bit of desert. That's perhaps the more interesting thing at this point. Actually, there's kind of a mixed zone down here, too. All right, I've got a little one-off. So that might put me still over this way. Okay, so that's matching up. And probably this whole area here is enough other biome stuff to kind of prove the concept. So many wolves. What was that? Ah, we're over here now. Okay. All right, that does seem to be a valid test there. Okay, so I think we're done with you. All right. Special biome. All right. So the other thing, can I apply? Can I even apply? What is the HTML of it? Leaflet pane, leaflet map pane, leaflet tile pane. Leaflet. Can I apply blur at that level? Oh, I can, and you don't get the tiling artifacts. Is that sufficient with data? Oh, but I didn't have my server up yet. I'm probably need to reload to get the server set. Well, it certainly helps, actually. But I did pick a set of darker colors for a reason. And I might want to do less blur for this version of it. Oh, hmm? Oh, it's applied at a different level. Yeah. Although it does feel like it's doing something. Okay, yeah, it's like blurring the edges. But that only... Well, I mean, that's actually good. Because it means if you do zoom in... Okay, this is a new bug. Is that because of the blur? Okay, so we've got the fade. We've got the data. Shoot. It might be because of the blur. Well, now it seems fine. Oh, if I scroll... while zooming? What in the... It's like that zoom... Maybe I have to evict that zoom layer from memory? Oh, I should pay attention to what number it was. All right, zoom 28. Oh! Okay, it does seem to be somehow related to that blur effect. Okay. Shoot. Oh. Yeah, I don't even think I went too fast there. It's weird, is it all the others are fine? Okay, it's just the really close ones. But only with this. Well, that has to be some down in the dirty, down in the weeds browser thing. Maybe it's the computing budget, but I mean, we should only have one tile to process here. Was this the problem with... this version? And I mean, maybe I could apply it somewhere else in the chain than the tile layer, but like the tile layer is like the appropriate place to put it. So now this has the tiling problem. It's got the edge. But it doesn't have this problem. Well, you do suffer the loss of precision up close. The other level here... Oh, it is still like subtiling it somehow. Wonder why it's not getting the blur effect. Leaflet layer interactive. Oh, I clicked onto something else. No, this is like the dots or something. Leaflet tile pane. Leaflet layer. Leaflet tile container. So to try and get a little bit lower, I would have to put a tag on that. Or on all of them. How about leaflet tile pane? Leaflet layer. Class. There is no such element. Now I did have the data going on and everything. Nope. If it's any parent of those big canvases. Something just goes wonky. Oh. Yeah, so the browser is like confused about when it needs to repaint. Or doing something invalidates it without the program getting an event that it needs to redraw. But it's under very peculiar circumstances. All right, so the only way, it's like, this would have been such a nice way to do it because it wouldn't really affect the close-in rendering. But you would lose the edges as you zoomed out, and you don't have the edge artifacting. That one I know about. Yeah. That's going to be very hard to find a focused use case on. I wouldn't mind the canvas layer as much if it wasn't for the edge lines. I guess I could restrict zoom. Why is it just that layer? Oh, it's just that tile. Doesn't realize it needs to repaint for some reason. Yeah, so something causes a blank of the current tile. Yeah. I don't know. So I guess we don't get to do that. Okay. Well, or could I, is there a hook to watch zoom level? I mean, there'd be some sort of visual artifact. Yeah, okay, I guess I could believe that that's the start of this data. I was a little bit behind. But that means I have to make it just a separate thing from fade. Actually, no, fade is manipulating opacity. Okay, so this is set opacity. So I need a method that tells me what my current zoom is. That's probably... Does any layer get that? Or is that a map message? Add remove. Evented. Nope, that must be a map thing. Properties panes. Events. Zoom levels, number of zoom levels. Zoom start. About to change. Setting it for the level we're going to probably makes sense. It's only going to be one event. So in habit, we make a map. Do we have any other map on events? Apparently not. Map.on. Zoom start. We've got a map here. DOM util. Get style. That's get style. Has class, add class. I was thinking like a toggle class. Well, this is going to be based on zoom level. So, I don't suppose EV has the zoom level in it, huh? Source target, target. Animate to zoom. Or maybe there's a second parameter? Arguments. Nope. So we're pretty much just looking at map properties at that point. So we have animate to zoom. I guess the recommended way to do that would, well, this is zoom start. So if I ask it for its current zoom, what's it going to give me? Set zoom, so presumably there's a get zoom. Okay, okay, we're at 23. Yeah, so this is trailing. Get zoom scale. Get center, get zoom. Yeah, so if I want to know the actual current level, I have to do zoom end. Which hopefully that's not too late. Oh, and then I also have to know if the fade is on. So we were running the Drevil with 28 before. I guess we would remove class. And we were originally having trouble in here. Okay, it's 28, 27. But this only has to happen when we have layer fade. Yeah, because that's the layer control. Oh, now this, I did not currently set this thing up to do it. But the zoom change. Okay. All right, so this is now a trivial thing, but we still have to do this. Now this is remove. So this is on add. We really only need to do this if it is less than 28. And on remove, we're going to clear that if it's there. And this is where we run into problems for whatever reason. And this is all tied to that. Is blur 2 appropriate? I mean, that might be enough for typical usage. Yeah, I think that made it a little bit better contrast. Actually, that might mean that this would actually work better as well. Initially, I tried this and it didn't seem to work so well. Start of special age. Ah, okay, well that gets rid of the line effect. I'd swear I tried that early on, it didn't work. Although it is blurring at a slightly different level. Oh, so that's actually a problem for you as well. So now, yeah, it is a slightly different effect. I mean, this still gives you some, and that was at 27? So it has something to do, it's some relationship to the blur size and the tile size. Huh. Anyway, I'm not sure about this scale because this makes it at screen level pixel blurring. Whereas if you blur on the tiles, then zooming in really gets you nothing because that's where it becomes more uncertain. So maybe we leave that. All right, did I have any other test code in there? So this is going to go in and potentially try to do a class operation on every... Oh, I still have the invalid in there. And hopefully that won't be an issue. Yeah, I mean, it still gets noisy out here, but I guess you sort of get those larger scale biomes going on. Yeah, you know what? I should probably document this. And then because that was a rather unusual thing. All right, so the other thing we got going on is that people asked how to use it. I did a little bit in the forum thread. I might need to, I want to kind of unify that with a README as well. Which actually be an easier place to do the editing, probably. All right, building credits. Oh, actually, you know, now, see, this is a little bit out of date now, because it does generative stuff. So this is, you see, its usage, it is site usage. Not include image tile generation. All right, so what we've got right now yeah, so that's true. Well, we're getting there. Yeah. Select points. Okay, it's documented, it's just not obvious. And then this is the GUI stuff. All right, so the other thing I need to do is there were a series of updates. Okay, data update. Coordinates are linkable. That I remember was in there. All right, so this is going to be We're just doing user documentation right now. I don't know if there's like a UX channel. Search overlay. That was basically documented. Feature request. Yes, we're using far less of the map now. That remains to be seen. Click on data points. I saw that in there. Selecting points animated layer. Lineage. I may have never done that. Although this needs to this again needs to be rewritten from the top, but to that character's lineage or jump to their family tree. Okay, got that. Other servers and time periods. Filter funnel. Well, that's in that menu. I never really documented that. That needs to be added. Format, okay. That's okay. Death information. Okay, the time toggle has changed a little bit. Discussion. You could mention that detail's there. Client-side rendering. I don't know. The old server 3 map is a little bit of an Easter egg. I don't know if that needs to be documented per se. So we kind of have to think about this from the top. How... Well, I mean, I've kind of got some stuff up here. And I might need to think about my default. I guess I didn't necessarily want to grab data immediately, but that's like the only thing you're going to get if you're looking at this in a typical scenario where we don't have the current data. And I'm like, I used to at least have the monuments on here, but I don't think any monuments have been built since that update. And actually, natural state only doesn't even apply to, only applies to images when we have images. So this kind of moves down to, hey, there's these things here sometime. This is more descriptive. then documentary. And I probably do need to add a time parameter at some point. We actually did do that. And we already have time URL parameter. So this is like commentary. Oh, you know what? Okay, yeah, there have been developer updates. Okay, just a fence sound. It's like, could he have changed something else? Okay, so we've got coordinates. We've got this is like a little side thing kind of. So as it stands, default view ain't much. Oh, and what is our default zoom level? Okay, that's not terrible. I guess I could fetch less data. Grab like 1 hour at the end or something. All right, for me, I have default view is probably uninteresting. We probably don't have the current map seed available yet. Is that a good thing to say up front? Maybe. And of course I have the stuff fade out because I like to leave it running in the background. So we've got high level description. Upper left, zoom in and out buttons. Also works with mouse wheel. I guess images would be nice here. Actually, in-app would be nice here. But this still gives me a script for what I need to document. I guess I'd have to add like a help control that would pop up text around things. Now, some of these are standard leaflet controls, so that might make that complicated. Switch to past maps. Lower left. And lower right is being consistent with my capitalization here. Data is like life, search, data selection, and all right, that's the high level picture. I don't feel like this needs an entire section. Kind of like the scale control, it doesn't need an entire section. Is this like a stopwatch or a clock? Or which, I should say sometimes. We just called a button. Base layers and overlays. Let's see. Different stages of the game's development, or in the case of Crucible. This is actually going to have to change, but the whole arc thing is going to get out of hand quite quickly. I guess we can document any exceptional layers. and is based on rendered images. Some of these there is much higher detail available in a small area around origin from the early days of the base layers can automatically change when viewing data to the appropriate map for the selected time period. Otherwise, these are kind of all just different. That's the other kind of special one. All right, overlays. Grid lines for help with judging distances or locating coordinates. Lower grids are on 4D spacing, which is the spring placement at current settings. Otherwise, I don't think there's a whole lot to say about that. Scale changes as you go out. Pretty much everything in the box is at the 40 scale. We've got Rift. Should update based on data times. So the size cannot be directly just something I've not considered. I probably need to rearrange these a little bit. Because, I mean, life data and fade really go together sort of automatically. I guess life data and monuments go together. So past 48, well, 48 hours, 2 days. Shows the most recent 2 days. Other times, most recent days. On Big Server 2. Other servers and times can be selected. Getting the data menu. Activating this layer. Well, changing this layer. Shows locations of bell towers based on the website's monument log. By default shows big server 2. It follows the server selection in the data menu. And fade. All right. So we've got overlays. We've got data menu, I guess I've been calling it. And we might want to revisit time controls. All right, so this is kind of had a version of this. Okay, that is still true. So all this stuff was actually there before. Or jump to their family tree. Uh-oh. I haven't used this in a while. Or do we get a null? So that's completed. So maybe it was a nil. Unfortunately, I found a lot of results. Okay, lineage. Oh, you know what? I've got a problem right now that I need to address about filling in the lineages. But this is still a thing that could happen, because there are still a couple hundred people without lineages filled in. No, whole data. Decode. Do I want to make that true maybe, or do I want to call them all 0? Because this kind of has a knock-on effect to everything using this data. Well, which I guess would end up disabling anything based on lineage. Oh no, actually that's player ID. That's fine. Lineage would be unavailable. Oh, actually, that's what kind of we do with this. All right, so quick fix. Except you're an int. Okay, apparently it didn't compile. Oh, a lineage. Maybe I reloaded too soon. Okay. Oh. And I thought I had this scrolling. Okay. So I'm gonna have to address that. These might actually almost be major. Well, I mean, this isn't too major, but actually all of these options. All right, so these things are labeled. Describing these options might get a little bit significant. Oh, you know what? This should also set map position. Or map time. Okay, so that's one action. What would you call that? A portrait? Heads? Currently what it does, it changes a list will be shown along with points, along with, well, for this it's just birth locations. Show that position on the map. To that, characters, lineage. Tree will open a new tab with the Uh, ah. So like this is map usage. Oh, this is life data usage. So this is like almost needing to be subheadings itself. Oop. This has to do with other things. All right, I think that's everything you can do here currently. Uh, show runs. I mean, that goes for character searches as well. But this is going to get potentially a lot more data. Time base is, let's see, is currently, I actually suggest I should be doing server before time, since server influences time. Server, the time selection depends on, and this actually removes all these options, right? Yes. And when it has since these time periods man, this almost needs a subheading. Selects the time with overall possible values with very low precision. Fine, can then select more precise endpoint. I think this is like within a week. 25, 8. Still not super precise. due to is useful for selecting all right. Okay, so that's that. Then we have this isn't really a name. It's going to be select the fix the amount of time. It's the amount of history. This ends up setting this. Yeah, so the whole end time thing. All right, and then server, which is slightly iconified. Uh, which is the default. I guess the note about the monuments is presets. offers an easy bookmarkable way to configure several settings at once to show big server 2 at 24 hours ago. Or at, this is called yesterday. All right, how many, what's our indent here? It's getting a little crazy. I think it needs to go in the notes because we're going to run out of time sooner or later here. Possibly a little bit farther down. Bookmarking layers. I don't think we're going to be able to do too much with that today. Live data points. Oh, other thing. I want to possibly have a legend for lineage color. Try to pick, well, random color for each family line. Birth time, well, hopefully that's self-explanatory. The color is been hard because we have a very colorful map behind us. That might actually be helped a little bit by the blurry effect. Oh, I must have turned, no, the rift's on. I'm just way the heck out there. Yeah. It's still kind of can still blend in a little bit. Well, we actually had some high generation, well, high-ish generation in this data set. A couple murders going on. Lots of disconnects out in the wild. Okay, so that needed description. I mean, other than describing the scale, I don't know if that needs anything. Display points at either control to toggle whole or animated view. This can also be done from left when data is shown. Oh, when enabled, also provides a control for the animation playback scale. Time per animation frame. All right, so we touched on this. That's commentary. I probably need this at the top level somewhere. Site usage, top level map controls. Just don't have any other place to put that right now. When the data layer is on this toggles all right, oop. I think that this is this is a single step. So we've got okay, my markdown doesn't like this here. I mean, it's probably not going to like that either. Well, it's going to be a play pause button. Let's see. Actually, is there anything? I mean, these are mostly pretty obvious. What would you call this? That's not obvious. Uh, okay, time control. Here you can step, play, pause, and all right. So that's more detail. It's still a wall of text. However, this does give me, well, it gives me a script if I wanted to make a video, to an extent. It gives me a basis for things I need to document if I do want to do some in-app stuff. Unfortunately, well, there might be some stuff out there. Now, one of my complications is that some of the things you might want to do documentation on, like interactive documentation, are in here, which is Elm, which is kind of a different environment. All right, so that's clear. All right, so if I was going to try and describe this in a more interactive way, well, what would you do? I might want to point out to change data or filter data. You could have a thing for, hey, you can animate. You know what? This is a README. It's probably going to want this to be dashed. I think that's correct. Oh, wait, is it a UE? No. Oh, graticule. Hey. Lifelogs, servers, visibility. A word I like misspelling, apparently. Visibility. Well, it is a misspelled big server too. Life logs, Maple. Conified is a made-up word. Bookmarkable, kind of a made-up word. At the provides Huh. I see you almost need to get into some other stuff before the coordinate makes sense. And the coordinates, I kind of need to get some layer or time hooks in there. So, I mean, it still does that. It's just not terribly interesting right now. So big tour, layers panel, I could go through all of those. Go through all of the overlays. All right, so if we were to do something with this, well, I mean, we could try giving it a run through here. So let's get this cleared back out. All right, so using, I did make a correction to something, didn't I? Yes. So I have to get that published, and probably won't be using the right one. Anyway, so using one map. So right now it's kind of boring because we don't have the current seed. We can turn on some kind of more interesting layer, which we'll get to that in more detail in a moment. But yeah, I don't think I need to describe. Well, I mean, there's the zoom control, but otherwise, you can drag yourself around. And if you do, it will update the XYZ, so you could say, hey, I was living over here somewhere, and then copy paste that and hand it to someone. Now, right now, we're not doing anything with the layer, so you would also have to tell them when that was. Yeah, so that's an odd documentation thing. So basic controls are, you have buttons for the zoom. It's also this mouse wheel, which I use most of the time. We've got the layers control that lets you change a lot of the display stuff. We've got an additional menu over here. And this is the scale of like 200 units in this much space, and a reference to these zoom levels is zoom 23, not zoom 24. Oop, I double clicked or something. So the more complicated one, well, it's not complicated, but more detailed, is layers control. So you can pick the, actually, let's just turn everything off here so we see what it actually is. You've got Badlands Age, which is like when the game first launched. I think we relatively quickly got the Arctic. Desert, spent a lot of time in the Jungle Age. This one is a little bit different. Unlike the others, which are generated infinitely, this is actually pre-generated screenshots. And I think I lost my center here. But we can fix that. But am I close enough? Nope, I lost it too much. Oh yeah, we lost it a lot. So this is another thing that's handy with this. Just go to 0, 0. So because we lived in one area for a while, you can actually get some high detail on this. Of course, it's lost to history, and maybe I will clean this up at some point if the data storage kind of gets huge. And then we started going into random seeds. And another random seed, and then map generation changed. And actually, this thing will probably go away because this is not scalable as we add arcs here. And then it changed again to these sort of zones of the peaks between the valleys. And sometimes we don't know what it is. This is just blank. And Crucible is an alternate server, which actually run by some community members. I actually think it's back up now too. So I did some of this, by no means all of it. Maybe I should switch this to the algorithmic rendering. Over this, you can put some overlays. So Gradical lets you see where 0, 0 is, among other things. At this scale, it is on the 40 spacing of the wells. At other scales, that gets really crowded, so it starts doing other things. And of course, that doesn't matter much for these things, because these things are all in the box. So you can do the rift. If you're viewing historical data, this should update to the appropriate size. So there's the rift. Actually, let's skip, because that's a really big one. Monuments show, and they're kind of fading out because they're old here, where the bell towers have been built in the past. Which there have been a lot of bell towers lately. So let me get back. Well, actually, this is actually the easy way to find the center now. Let's get that. Those pointers. So fade is just to kind of put this into the background, specifically for life data. It takes a little bit to load in. And whenever you're viewing data, it should be setting the time for you. So right now, the time that I have available to me is actually starting a few days ago before we got to the topographic type stuff. So you can pretty much see the box from here. So this is data layer. Let's see, do I have any other notes on this? Yeah, so one thing we can do here, kind of getting into the next bit, is you can actually select points. And this, like when you have a crowded thing like this, it's helpful to zoom in because it's basically based on, this is actually not a great example here because they happen to get a very, very dark family color. Everybody had to get a very, very dark family color here. But it will kind of highlight the points you got. And actually, and this is based on pixel size, so as you zoom out, you will get more or less, or zoom in and out, you get more or less people if you're trying to narrow in on something in particular. And just jump ahead a little bit, if you are in a time view, this will only, did I select you? Do people that are in the current time. So in general, that kind of got some stuff in here, but in general, this is accessed through here. So this is, oh, it just got a bunch of stuff. Oh, because it actually ran that search. Okay, but like one of my old lives, and this does not set time by itself. So I mean, this actually would have been a jungle age life. Are we? Oh, you know what? Was I messing around? No. Oh, maybe this might be a different Eve call, and I forgot which one it was. That looks right. one of my old lives. So you can jump around to the life, see where they were. I mean, if you had some other stuff relative, that's a Donkey Town actually, I think. Yeah. That's all the other data points. And you can also select the lineage of that. So you can kind of see, actually went over here to start, a branch of the family went up there, so people went wandering to the north. And that reselected anything, but the family tree is the family tree. So this will pop over here, say loading. Hopefully everything's working. So there we go. That's kind of focusing on this character. So actually there's the same person who died and came back a few times. So this can kind of let you see all at once how the entire family fared. And this does filter out some of the instant death babies from times when that was extremely common. So that's the search. Search yet data. So that will turn off this layer, the search result layer. So this lets you pick other servers and other times. So this is the actual search button. So there's two modes here. There is server time and just from now time. This is useful if you're doing like 24 hours before. So like this is kind of the default is 48 hours ago. But you could pick a different time. And these can be a little bit slow because I've got lots of data. And then I should probably have this jump to where it is. So this is a very different world. But you can see how that works. If you're since this deals with large times, really hard to get precision. So this kind of moves across all of it, and then this lets you narrow it down a little bit more. Within a week to either side of that. Now this range here will depend on the server you've selected. So like Big Server 2 only goes back to January of 2019. Server 1 goes back to the start of life logs, isn't quite everything. Alternate is to pick just some recent time, which there isn't going to be any on Server 1. So that will actually, Genix Service does kind of do an immediate search. Don't know if it should, but it does. So those are those options, and you can pick the period. So if you're, well, I guess server time would be more appropriate here. So just like the very, very end of things, the last hour of recorded time, you can go up a lot, but that's going to be lots of data that you have to wait a bit for. So yeah, you can change servers, you can pick times. There's one little preset thing here which kind of gets us into the, kind of jumps us ahead to time control. So I'm going to skip that for now. Now I do kind of link to that, so I'm just going to take that out. Just to make sure it's not in there. So data, actually let's just grab this data set, because that one should be cached a bit. So that's all that stuff. You can mark this up a little bit. So the default coloring is based on lineage, and that's either one family that got a really dark color or a lot of families on top of each other. Not sure which. So that will give you, I mean, there are times when this looks a little bit nicer. The box has things kind of crowded up. You can color based on birth time. So you can see some of the older towns and some of the newer towns by generation. So you can get a sense of which ones may have lived longer. This does get a little bit crowded, but you can zoom in a bit. And overlaying is a little bit of an issue. And by cause of death, So you have lots of disconnects, lots of hunger. Towns do tend to see some murders. And for that, it's specifically useful. It's often and especially useful to use the where they died mode. So if there was like a big battle or something, although big towns just tend to be full of them. So that might be more interesting in time view. And this is one of the places you can turn that on. So either here or when data is up down here, you can turn this on and off. We'll let you look at this in time perspective, and that will also update the base layer to try and be appropriate. And then this can be played, so you can kind of, hello. Oh, and we crossed a world boundary there to kind of watch this going at speed, and you can make it go even faster or even slower. So this is where the preset kind of comes in. No, I'm not the dev of, I'm the dev of the map. And I was kind of doing it was kind of a dry run. Format, time controls. Oh, one other thing. You can toggle this between local time and UTC. But otherwise, I think that actually is about it. Okay, I am not the dev of OHOL. The dev of OHOL is Jason Rohr. I guess if you're asking, then you might already know the game. I'm just a fan. Not real time. The data is only published once a day. What you can do is hit yesterday, and this is like, oh, okay. It was fetching the data. So this is this time. So for me, it is. It is not 3:00 a.m. Okay. Oh, so actually, this is my data. It's a little bit old, but the principle applies. So normally this will do 24 hours ago, and this data is just a little bit too old. We'll set it to that time and move at 1 second per 1 second. So you can see things as they were at that time. And some people asked about documentation, so I was doing some documentation. I was kind of trying to do a run-through of a description, and there's some commentary in there. It's probably good enough to get an idea of it. I should really do some in-app stuff at some time. But, oops. That is going to be a very major project. And we have already gotten up to about the time I want to break for lunch. Interesting to run. Oh, I think the maybe because I resized it with this. Yes, there's a little bit of funniness there. Anyway. Unless, okay, no further dev updates, so no other map changes. I guess what we can do, and here I had this up. Nope, current arc is still going, so there's nothing to update there. So I guess we're approaching what he originally wanted out of things. All right, so I did have one bug fix here. Actually, is there any other achievable stuff here? Well, that might be easy-ish. Although the scroll is one that especially bothers me, I guess. Because I'd swear I had this scrolling before. All right, so we're going to move back. This is mostly going to be JavaScript. I think. All right, what do I need to have this scroll? So this could either be style. Actually, it's overflow in CSS. Oop. Body. Okay, how about... And actually, you have a scroll property. Show matching lives. Scroll bar Y. Sidebar. That looks like this thing. This looks like a scroll bar Y property. Oop. Overfly Y auto. So maybe it is the coordinate size? Or the box size? So what properties do we have set here? I don't see any... I see a width property. See a flex shrink. Okay, that didn't help. Okay. So one of these elements has to be the size of this stuff. Or it has to be the size of the data. Okay, so that is with the header right now. So right now we've got the div, we've got the header, and we've got these. And this something somewhere something needs to be screen sized and something else needs to be full sized. So you've got an overflow Y set. But something is also... What is setting your height? Line height. Because you see, I don't want that to scroll if it doesn't need to be that big. I don't suppose height auto. Nope. Could it be that this entire sidebar is actually somewhere off screen? Oh. Let's see if we can get some numbers here. Okay, I don't have my full box like you would usually. Oh, because it's a flex item? Content size, is that the height? Final size. So maybe this thing's container needs to have the scroll bar? I might need like a 2-level container thing. No. I mean, it was specifically overflow. Well, I mean, that sets why. Maybe a container needs to have aha. So now I just have to trace this back to the source code. Oh, no, we're in view. Well, there's my scroll bar Y. So show matching lives is the thing in show result. Show result so is that a system generated container? Oh no, that's the entire thing. But it has a height fill. Height fill. Oh. Which is done with a flex scroll, not with an actual height command. HTML attribute. Is this, did I bear this? Yes, I bared this. I guess it would be HTML.style, essentially. Actually, HTML.attributes. And did I get that right? No. HTML attribute, HTML, right. You're not gonna like that function order. Is string. What are we missing here? Style. Wait. Oh, it's a string. That's why it looks weird. Yay! Okay, we can scroll. But that almost looked like we didn't initially select or didn't initially be in the right spot. Okay, well, sure. No, that's the bug. Oh. That was readme and notes. That was the little bug fix we needed. I have to decide if I want to handle that. That's going to be kind of detail work, though. Okay, so we updated our README. We had a bunch of notes. I guess that was the bug fix. And README. Add user documentation to README. And fix scrolling in all right. The other one that I'm going to do real quick is selecting life should set map time. So that's actually kind of a command from map UI. Oop. Set view. So there's all the coordinate stuff. So when we select this, am I just linking to this? No, there's going to be an anchor there. Oh, I might be updating the URL and letting the root handle it. Which actually kind of turns this into a time selection problem. Oh, the awkward thing about time is that I've been controlling the URL from Elm so far, so it's all been over on the sidebar. If I go into data mode and go and start playing, that's just going to be constantly updating. And we have to keep on, and I guess we could tell Elm about it, have it update the URL. Okay. Coordinate route. comes from change route to, that's init, current URL. So that should be a view. Dot select matching life focus equals leaflet dot focus. Oh, this isn't necessarily a coordinate thing. Okay, focus marker, remove, focus marker, upset view. So the thing I'm really concerned about here is base layer. And we've got a thing for that. Base layer by time. Map. Oh, but I have to be careful of, because that was done with taking like event times. So this has to be translated to seconds. Okay, Jungle Age. 2019. Your actually might be too recent, or during the time when we had no... Yeah, I would actually know. 7:30. Oh, yeah, that's a nice recent one. Alright, so this is kind of a special case on getting a life, but that is going to be a little nicety. And this could turn into a big project. I mean, the legends, really it's going to be determining all of the lineage colors and filtering that down and not displaying all of them. That's going to make that expensive to develop. Alright, so that's as much as I want to do today. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody who hosted me. Let's see, do we have anything to recommend? This is about when I tend to be on. Today I am expecting to be out, so there won't be afternoon. I still have to post about that. Otherwise, I would normally be but at the moment I'm doing afternoon, so that'll be Sunday, and then Saturday will be actually when I'm in life. So if someplace cool to hang out, looks like Dylan Rob's doing some Factorio. Is that? Yeah, I think he's going to be going for a while. Yeah, if someplace cool to hang out, thanks for hanging out with me. Goodbye, and until next time.